Ladies and gentlemen, according to Maria Bartiromo and Senator Ted Cruz, in the Washington Examiner, the Supreme Court leaker's identity has either already been revealed or will be revealed in short order. Happy Mother's Day, by the way. I will have a live stream tonight at 8 p.m. on this channel. It'll be a Mother's Day live stream. So be here at 8 p.m. Pacific tonight and subscribe to the Stock Market Crash channel below in the pinned comment. I have a very important segment on that channel. Ladies and gentlemen, the interesting thing about this saga or this controversy is that you have Justices Kavanaugh, for example, experiencing consequences from this breach of protocol. So you have Democrats when they experience when there's just like a mean tweet, it's, oh my God, conservatives are flooding my mentions, or conservatives are sending mean messages to this person because of Elon Musk. So any consequence, they will complain about, pontificate, preach, and say it's an immoral consequence or repercussion of the actions of a, horrible conservative. But when they breach protocol, totally shred norms, which Ben Shapiro is 100% right about. They don't care about norms and tradition. They only care about attaining political influence and power. The Democratic Party, if they could leak or publish any information detrimental to Trump or to Republicans, and with the help of other countries, which the Steele dossier was exactly that. It was a compilation of lies and gossip compiled and purchased from a foreign official, a former official, but a person in another country working with other people in the Kremlin, by the way, to obtain dirt on Trump. They're the ones who interfered using the help of other countries. But if you say that to them, it's like, oh my God, they don't care if they act in the same way that they accuse Republicans of acting. And I saw that when I was on the left. I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, and according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. They accused Bernie Sanders supporters of fomenting violence in Nevada. They did the same thing during 2016, and then two Democratic operatives were forced to resign because of the Veritas video, completely revealing what they were up to. But the Roe v. Wade decision, or possible decision, is a repercussion, and I say this as a supporter of Trump and DeSantis. I believe, and you might think I'm nuts, I believe that just based on what I saw, the numbers that I saw, the data, and everything, it was a populist year in 2016. Bernie Sanders, if he had the Democratic Party behind him, okay? Yes, if he didn't have the Democratic Party behind him, Trump would have defeated him. But if he had the Democratic Party behind him in a fair primary, which he would have won if it was fair, would have defeated Trump. It could have been very close. But you wouldn't have had Comey's letter at the end, which is really what tanked Madam Secretary. James Comey is what tanked Clinton. And I knew that email, the email debacle, was much greater of an issue with top secret intelligence on private servers, running outside the United States government. But the identity will be revealed, or already has been revealed. It's probably already known by a small number of people. It has to be within a group of 12 people, and because it's 3 liberal judges that have 4 law clerks each, a pool of 12 people are looking at that right now. So it's almost certainly from a law clerk of a liberal judge. Now, when you say, well, that's not true, Bernie wouldn't have won in 2016. In 2016 is like a time warp. It's like a quantum physics alternate reality. You have to understand something. We're still living this Supreme Court issue where Democrats are crying and yelling and screaming, which is what they usually do. Operation Cackle Screech, if you remember this channel from a while back. That's because you cheated Bernie Sanders. You cheated, and I told everybody Clinton would lose to Trump. You cheated Bernie Sanders. You didn't go with, and I want a Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump 2024. Again, you're going to think I'm nuts. I'm all over the place in terms of being, out of my mind. But I because I want a rematch just so we can put 2016 behind us. We will never live without 2016 hovering over us like a cloud that just follows us everywhere. And the only way we can move past 2016 is to have a Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton 2024, or DeSantis Clinton 2024, but it'll be Donald Trump and hopefully Hillary Clinton 2024. What they did was the following, and I can tell you, I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet according to the Huffington Post, and the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters according to the Washington Post. And you can see my writing and you can see those articles on hagoodman.com. The reason I bring that up is because Bernie Sanders has a big movement. It's a gigantic bowel movement now, but it's pretty big on the left. I was one of the people who was deemed the biggest supporter, at least in media, at that time for a moment. That's a pretty interesting, bizarre, peculiar, somewhat profound for that moment in time label. And I can tell you the reason that Democrats and people who care about, freedoms or Roe v. Wade or the Supreme Court decision, the reason they're so upset is because they're so ignorant when it comes to recent, modern and recent U.S. history. They don't understand that the repercussions of their actions have led to this. Democrats do not understand that cheating Bernie Sanders, the railroading him in a primary, not allowing him in 2016. See, the reason Elizabeth Warren ran in 2020, the reason that they all just dropped out before Super Tuesday, the reason that there was suddenly a coincidental app, thanks a lot, an app from a Clinton campaign, wow, thanks a lot. The reason there was an app that said that Bernie Sanders lost to Buttigieg in Iowa is because Bernie could have still won 4 years later. But the actual primary system they have within that political party is so messed up, they'll never allow a Bernie Sanders to win, even though he could. If the Democratic Party went behind Bernie Sanders in 2016, at that moment in time, he would have defeated Trump. He would have then had the 3 justices, but they messed things up. They didn't listen to me telling them Clinton would lose in the Hill, the Huffington Post salon. My writing was shared hundreds of thousands of times. Not that, whatever. They're so ignorant and they're such imbeciles that many people on the left, consider me like this bad person or a clown or, oh yeah, here's how Bernie can still win. They think that I was this naive, gullible Bernie Sanders supporter who didn't understand anything, who became a Trump and DeSantis supporter. What they don't understand is they're the ones who were clueless. I told them that they would lose with Clinton. We then found out, which is kind of like we already knew, that Bernie Sanders was being railroaded, that they cheated Bernie Sanders. Then they expected everyone to fall in line and just accept. Now, most of the pundits on the left with millions of subs or a million they did fall in line. These are the people who claim to, oppose the system. They did fall in line. I did not. I wasn't born to serve any political party, especially not the Democratic Party or any party. I was born to be a human being with free thought and critical thinking skills and logic and reason. Nobody's going to control my behavior, ever, except me. And so that's what took place. they were told that people would not accept the most popular candidate being cheated, Bernie Sanders, within that primary for a candidate that favorability ratings, an ongoing bureau probe, FBI probe that was obviously a cover-up, but everybody knew the servers were there to hide information. And top secret intelligence made it a huge national security problem. Anyway, that's the repercussions. Had they simply stood by Bernie Sanders, he would have won a fair primary, and the Democrats would have had those 3 justices. They cheated him. They lost with a candidate I said they would lose to, and they didn't get the 3 justices. Now you have Kavanaugh and others experiencing the repercussions, which hopefully he's embraced the Second Amendment, because that's what the Second Amendment is there for. What Democrats do, they want to intimidate, okay? I embraced the Second Amendment when the police told me to do so, when I had an issue on Twitter with some left-leaning person trying to intimidate. And the police said, embrace the Second Amendment, not in those words, and I did. So God forbid I can protect myself and my family if, God forbid, somebody's trying to do harm. And so there's a level of protection and power and confidence that you have, because you can indeed protect your family and yourself with the Second Amendment. So I own firearms. So obviously I'm going to call the police if, God forbid, somebody tried to do something horrible. But in the meantime, I could protect myself with the Second Amendment. Now, people who are, don't have $30,000 a month or a year, like the security details in Congress for Democratic politicians, see, you can actually protect yourself with the Second Amendment. We have that right in the United States of America. What Democrats do is they gleefully try to online, in person, they'll tell, make sure they're not welcome, get in their faces and yell and all this stuff. It's like, that doesn't do anything but keep people more entrenched within their viewpoint. See, Democrats have no actual policies or values system. They're devoid of any of that stuff. What they have is, cheating Bernie Sanders in a primary, blaming justices for the decisions they made. They would have had 3 liberal justices had they simply let the best person win in 2016. They don't have policies that actually work. We have rampant runaway inflation. They keep talking about marginalized communities and systemic injustices. These communities are suffering more under mashed potato brains Biden with inflation. So you can pump as much money as you want into any, you could give as much money as possible to people suffering from poverty. If a 1 month or 2 month or 12-month stimulus check alleviates people a little bit from poverty, the inflation will then plummet them down back into impoverished status. This is just economics 101. It's not rocket science, but you have to understand. The reason to be a morally superior liberal Democrat is to look in the mirror and say, I am a good person. I'm fighting for justice. Not reality. Reality is food prices, food shortages, gas prices, energy prices through the roof, inflation through the roof, contracting GDP. We're into a recession right now. There are going to be, unfortunately, a new round of layoffs. People will lose their jobs, unfortunately, and it's Mother's Day, and I don't even want people to think about that, but that's because Democrats, their policies, they wanted to save the planet immediately after they ended economic activity, which caused fossil fuels to skyrocket in price. Only Democrats would say we're gonna remove our reliance from fossil fuels, and then the fossil fuels will go skyrocketing in price. Only they would do this, because everything they touch turns into the fertilizer that is now 300 to 400% more expensive. So their policies absolutely stink. Go and watch any liberal YouTube channel, 4 million subs. What are they talking about? They're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. They're talking about how horrible Trump and DeSantis are. They're not talking about skyrocketing inflation, oil and gas prices, and fossil fuels and energy prices through the roof, contracting GDP, a stock market crash we're going to see, that we're seeing in slow motion, but we're going to see the 2008 or the 2000 just 10 to 20% or 8 to 10 to 15, 20% crash in the market in a day or two. We will see that, unfortunately. We'll see hedge funds with derivatives causing hedge funds to go under. We have a derivatives nightmare that AOC and Bernie Sanders, and especially Elizabeth Warren, aren't talking about. Everything is preaching. They've replaced a great many wonderful, morally superior liberal Democrats, have jettisoned God or religion. Their religion is politics. They don't know. These people never really, they weren't really, a lot of wonderful, wonderful, highly intelligent, wonderful liberals who were beautiful people, they, for years, kind of jettisoned religion and God, which is, if you want to be an atheist or agnostic, it's fine. But before 2015, politics didn't take the place of a God or of a religion. In 2016, suddenly they got really into politics, and it became their obsession, which then became dogma and religious doctrine. And so they turn on the TV, they can't get away from it, and it bolsters and reinforces Jimmy Kimmel, who works for the Democratic Party. The man's not even a comedian or a talk show host. He's works for the Democratic Party. He's a Democratic operative on late night. And there's 5 or 6 Jimmy Kimmels. Same thing. Hollywood, you can't get away from it. You'll have corporations now going to bat for Democrats. It's unbelievable. There's no way to get away from it. And to the morally superior left-leaning person, this bolsters their ideology. Oh, everyone's, on my side. It's no. This is a fleeting political moment where people just don't want to be called a bigoted human being, so they'll believe anything you say. You could say anything that makes no sense, and they'll say, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not a bad person. It's no. You can't give up morality. You can't act like a buffoon or an imbecile simply to achieve the goal of appearing moral. That will not make you a moral human being. Sometimes you have to take a stand or acknowledge certain truths or, getting back to Bernie Sanders, because everything is bad. So this is about Bernie Sanders, ladies and gentlemen. He's the one who caused all of this also, because he didn't even address this. It's not even the Democratic Party. It's Bernie Sanders didn't address that he was cheated. And again, you have left-leaning voters who enjoy getting completely pummeled by the Democratic Party. They think that they're so cool and awesome, and they're, oh yeah, but the far left is a tool of the Democratic Party. That's it's not the left doesn't control the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party controls the image and the public relations, and gets Bernie Sanders and AOC and Elizabeth Warren and useful pundits to funnel votes back into their political party after they give absolutely nothing to those voters. And they promise the world, from Medicare for all to student loans. They still don't give anything. They won't even vote on a Medicare for all bill. Anyway, hit subscribe to this channel right now. Be here at around 8 p.m. Pacific tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for the live stream. Thank you so very, very much. This is an important segment. Share it, everyone.